what if the life you're living, the desires you chase, aren't entirely your own? What if your inner voice is just an echo of what everyone else is shouting? Have you ever stopped to wonder how much of your life, your choices, your very self is truly yours? We're told chasing approval is a sign of weakness, but what if it's deeper? What if it's a biological impulse twisted by this modern world into a gilded cage? It's not just insecurity, it's a fundamental misdirection of our human need for connection and meaning. And if your desires aren't your own, if your motivations are subtly nudged, then free will, well, it starts to look a lot like an illusion. We're not just influenced, we're often complicit in our own subtle subjugation, mistaking the chains for comfort. This is a truth that's hard to swallow, but it's one that could fundamentally change everything for you. So, take a deep breath. We're about to peel back the layers. We're going to talk about Schopenhauer and his idea of the will. Think of it as a blind, relentless striving that drives everything. It's not a conscious decision. It's a fundamental, irrational hunger that fuels every living being. It's the engine of your desires, the source of your suffering, and honestly, the ultimate mystery of our existence. And right now, in our digital world, this ancient idea feels incredibly real. Social media algorithms, they're designed to hook that primal drive, feeding you curated desires, manufactured needs. We're bombarded with what we should want, what we should be, creating this endless loop of comparison and never-ending dissatisfaction. Those likes, those shares, that external validation, it's become a digital pacifier for that primal hunger. In the sheer volume of information, it's fragmenting your attention, making it harder and harder to hear your own authentic impulses above the noise. This isn't just distraction, it's a profound erosion of your capacity for self-directed experience. Schopenhauer's will isn't one thing, it's a pervasive force. It's why a plant reaches for the sun, why a predator hunts, why you seek connection, achievement, pleasure. But here's the catch. This striving is futile. Every satisfaction is temporary. It's just a brief pause before the will screams for something new. It drives us, but it also traps us in a cycle of perpetual wanting. You mistake the temporary fix for true fulfillment, only to find yourself adrift again, yearning for more. Imagine an immense ancient ocean. Not water, but pure, unadulterated striving. Every wave is a desire, a yearning, a demand. That ocean, that's the will, eternal, restless. And you're a tiny boat, born into it, tossed by its currents, navigating its shifting tides. You can try to steer, find harbors, reach shores, but the ocean itself, it just is. Its nature is to move, to churn, to strive. You can learn its moods, but you can never truly escape its embrace. And today, that ocean feels like a tempest, its waves amplified by constant external influence. This taps into something called the hedonic treadmill. We adapt. What brings joy today becomes the baseline tomorrow. This forces us to constantly seek new stimuli, new achievements, new possessions, all to recapture that initial thrill. Your brain is essentially becoming desensitized, needing ever bigger doses of external reward to feel good. It's the will's subtle manipulation, showing you a mirage of happiness that always recedes as you approach. Think about Anya, a graphic designer in her late 20s. Her creativity is vibrant, but overshadowed by this gnawing need for external validation. Her days are a cycle of anxious social media checks, meticulously curating her online self. A project she poured her soul into gets barely a handful of likes, and the disappointment is a physical ache. She starts doubting her talent, her worth. She begins tailoring her designs not to her vision, but to what she thinks will get engagement. She's sacrificing her unique voice for the fleeting approval of strangers. Have you ever found yourself subtly altering your authentic expression to fit the perceived expectations of others? The long-term cost for Anya? An erosion of her artistic integrity, a growing emptiness as her work becomes a hollow echo of her own desires. She's building a career on sand, and the tide of public opinion is always there. Then there's David, a middle-aged accountant. He's comfortable, financially secure, a stable family. Yet a deep restlessness eats at him. He spends hours fantasizing about a life he believes will finally bring contentment, scrolling through luxury car ads. He compares his life to those on aspirational blogs, feeling inadequate. This yearning for more possessions, more recognition, is the will manifesting as vague dissatisfaction. He believes that next big thing, that ultimate status symbol, will finally make him whole. But will it? When was the last time you pursued a desire, achieved it, and found that the satisfaction was ephemeral, leaving you with the same underlying yearning? The long-term consequence for David? A life spent chasing phantoms, perpetually deferring his happiness to a future that never arrives, his potential stifled by the will's relentless promise of happiness just out of reach. And Sarah, a young activist. She's passionate, but her online presence is a battlefield of performative outrage. She needs to be seen as the most virtuous, the most committed. She debates ferociously, attacking those with slightly different views. Her motivation? Not just the cause, but the social capital of appearing its most ardent defender. The constant need to prove her worth, to outshine perceived rivals in moral standing, is the will's insidious influence, turning conviction into a competitive sport. Do you ever find yourself caught in a cycle of seeking external validation for your beliefs or actions, even when your inner conviction should be enough? The devastating long-term cost for Sarah? Burnout of her passion, cynicism replacing idealism, and a profound loneliness from relationships built on perceived moral superiority, not genuine connection. Her activism becomes less about change, more about self-affirmation. The cost of staying trapped in this pattern is immense, though often invisible. It's the price of unlived lives, stifled creativity, genuine connection sacrificed at the altar of external approval. It's the slow erosion of your authentic self, replaced by a facade designed to appease the will's insatiable appetite. You pay with your peace of mind, your capacity for joy, and, ultimately, your sense of self-determination. Mistaking the echo for the voice, the performance for the truth, the cost is your own liberation. The path to breaking free isn't easy. It's arduous, demanding, often uncomfortable. It requires a radical reorientation, a deliberate turn inward to reclaim your own agency. True freedom here isn't the absence of desire, but the ability to recognize the will's influence for what it is, a fundamental, often blind force, and to choose how you respond. It's the strength to differentiate your authentic needs from the manufactured desires projected onto you. It's the courage to find contentment not in external acquisition, but in cultivating your inner landscape.
So, your first practical step, mindful observation of desire. What? Cultivate a practice of observing your desires as they arise, without immediate action or judgment. Why? This creates a crucial psychological distance. Desires aren't commands, they're phenomena that arise and pass. How? When a desire surfaces for a new gadget, a like, a thought about others, pause, breathe, mentally label it. The desire for novelty, or the urge for approval. Notice the physical sensations. Just observe. Your challenge this week? Practice the simple observation at least once a day. Expect frustration. The habit of immediate gratification is deeply ingrained. Second, cultivating inner resonance. What? Actively seek out activities, thoughts, and people that genuinely resonate with your deepest values, independent of external reward. Why? This directly counteracts the will's drive for external validation. By focusing on what aligns with your inner being, you build self-worth not contingent on others. It's about nurturing your own internal compass. How? Identify activities you lose yourself in that feel intrinsically rewarding, even if they're not popular. Reading a challenging book, a solitary creative pursuit, a deep conversation. Make time for these. Ask yourself, does this genuinely feel good to me, or am I doing it because I should? The challenge here, schedule just 1 hour this week for an activity that nourishes your soul purely for its own sake. This will require confronting the discomfort of not always being seen as successful by external standards. Third, embracing impermanence and acceptance. What? Practice acknowledging the transient nature of all experiences, pleasant or unpleasant, and cultivate radical acceptance of what is, rather than striving for a different reality. Why? The will thrives on dissatisfaction, on the belief that happiness is a future state. By accepting impermanence, you loosen its grip. Acceptance isn't resignation, it's clear-eyed recognition of reality. How? When you experience a difficult emotion, instead of fighting it, try to sit with it. Acknowledge its presence, its intensity, and its temporary nature. Remind yourself, this feeling, like all feelings, will pass. Your challenge here, when a difficult emotion arises, resist the urge to distract yourself. Simply sit with it, breathe, and acknowledge its temporary nature for 1 minute. This is perhaps the most challenging. Our natural inclination is to avoid pain. The difficulty you'll face in practicing these principles isn't failure. It's a testament to how deeply ingrained these patterns are. Every moment of resistance, every slip, is an opportunity to practice again. Think of building muscle. The strain and struggle lead to growth. The discomfort isn't a sign you're doing it wrong. It means you're engaging with something profound and transformative. So, we stand at a precipice. We've glimpsed the invisible currents shaping your desires, the relentless striving that can both propel and imprison you. You understand that the pursuit of external validation is a potent, often deceptive manifestation of a deeper force. The choice is stark. Continue to be a boat tossed by the will's waves, or begin the arduous, yet ultimately liberating journey of becoming the navigator of your own inner ocean. What is the most significant external validation you currently seek? And what would it mean to find that validation within yourself instead?